from Facebook to YouTube to Twitter, Periscope, all that good stuff. Hello, everybody. Hello. This is the Yolanda Shoshana live stream. Thank you so much for being here. Today it's another wine day. I am having wine. I am so, oh. I didn't even know you had the surprise glass. I am so happy to be speaking with Lori Budd, who is, there's so much that you do. I'm going to let you really tell more about yourself, but she's from exploringthewineglass.com and Dracaena Wines. And we're going to talk about Cabernet Franc and hashtag Cab Franc Day, which is coming December 4th. And I'm excited to learn more because I didn't even know it was a day. So this is new for me.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. So Cab Franc Day started really because my husband and I, Dracaena Wines, we specialize in Cab Franc. And back in 2013, that's all we made was Cab Franc. So we've grown from there. Now we make 2 Cab Francs, a Rosé of Syrah and a Chenin Blanc. So we've grown, but our flagship, our focus is still Cab Franc. That's what we love. That's what, we focus in on. And so in 2013, or I should say in 2015, when it was time to release, I was like, how is anybody going to know who we are? So of course I'm on social media and I'm doing all that. And I'm like, there is Cabernet, there's Cab Day, which is like Cabernet Sauvignon. Everybody thinks Cabernet Sauvignon. There's Sauvignon Blanc Day. There's Merlot month and a Merlot day. And there's Carmenere Day, which happens to be today.
Today, I know.
Right? is Carmenere Day. And, I'm a Jersey girl and, we have a certain little reputation of being a bit sassy, and I, doing, what we want, kind of like balls to the walls type thing. And I was like, you know what? There needs to be a Cab Franc Day. We're going to do a Cab Franc Day. So I just went to social media and I just started plugging away like, hey, Cab Franc Day is December 4th. Cab Franc Day is December 4th. And let's do a chat. Let's do this. And
why December 4th? Was there a particular reason?
There is, because I personally hate holidays that rotate. I can't keep track of them, like, oh, it's like the third Thursday of this, or it's the second Monday of this. Like, I think I never remember what's what, you're constantly Googling what day is this, or, so I wanted a day that was a set day. And so I'm like, okay, well, if you're going to make it a set day, there needs to be a reason. So Cardinal Richelieu is really kind of like the godfather of, or the father of Cabernet Franc. Mm-hmm. So, it's horrible. I've never seen the movie or read the book, but Three Musketeers, that's the guy. So he basically backpacked from Bordeaux to the Loire Valley with Cab Franc in his backpack and planted it in the Loire Valley. Now we know Cab Franc grows in Bordeaux and, it's used as a blending grape and all of that stuff, but in the Loire,
which I have right here.
Well, I'm drinking.
Oh my God.
A little, shameless plug. So, he brought it to the Loire Valley and it flourished and it became the grape of the Loire Valley. And it is a single variety, a single varietal there. And so that's really the home of Cab Franc. And December 4th is the anniversary of his death. So he passed away on December 4th. And so I was like, you know what? I don't care what day of the week it is. It's December 4th,
That's a good way to bring it full circle. Very nice. Very nice. So before we get more into Cab Franc, how did you get into wine so that people know a little bit more about you? Like, who's this lady who's telling us we have to drink
Cab Franc?
Because I'm from the East Coast. We say so.
So basically, my undergrad and grad is biology. So when I graduated college, I actually have marine biology, and my dream job was to go work with dolphins. And it's a great dream job until you get the job and realize you can't survive on what they're paying you, because everybody wants to work with dolphins and it's research, and you just, that's not where the money is. So I was like, all right, I'm going to get this gig. I'll get a different job, and I'll get back to that. I'll get back to that. And so I interviewed for a job. I was in New Jersey, interviewed for a job, and my boss, who became my boss, has this thing for fungus. He liked mold, and I took,
somebody's got to be into it.
Somebody into it, right? So I took one mycology class as part of my biology degree, and I sat there, being the Jersey girl that I am. I'm going to whip whatever, I can do this. And I literally fudged my way through throwing out everything I could remember from mycology class, and I got the job. So I was responsible for, at this company, it was called Lipton when I got the job. It then became Unilever. So Lipton tea.
Yeah, I was going to say Lipton, right? Yes.
Yeah. Wow. So I did microbiology for Lipton, and I was responsible for making sure that the products that you're drinking or eating were safe for you to eat. So microbiologically. Well, I met my husband, Michael. He is a food chemist. So now you have a microbiologist and a food chemist. He was responsible at that point for wishbone salad dressing. So he would create the product, he would develop the salad dressing, and then bring it to me, and I would inoculate it with all this microorganisms, and I would tell him, nope, you can't sell that, or yes, you can't, it's safe on the product, or it's not safe. And that's kind of how you get the expiration dates on food, is somebody like me is determining how long it can sit on the shelf. So we start.
I'm just like, office romance. I just have to bring that in there because I was like, I'm hearing love happened between products.
Salad dressing and tea. Yes.
Salad dressing. Okay, everybody. Okay.
So we started dating, and we really couldn't afford to go out play. And we were young, it was like 21, 22 years old. And so we would walk to the local store and pick out a bottle of wine, typically by the label. Oh, look how cute that is,
Yeah, that's how we right.
Right. And then we would go back to his apartment, and he would cook dinner because I don't cook. And we kind of, like, that was our dates. And then as we moved up in our careers, and, we got a little bit more money in the wallet, I say we were able to go from the bottom shelves to, like, able to stand up and look at those, right? Look at those top shelf in the supermarket.
Yeah.
And then we started taking vacations to wine, to wine regions. And we started to realize there was difference between, those lower level wines and wines, in different wine, United States areas. We hadn't gone out of the country. Mm-hmm. And we just started falling in love with each other and with wine. And, and then one year we decided we got married in 95. And I think it was like 2001, we decided to do one of those make wine with us type of things.
Fun.
And we trucked grapes from Lodi, California, all the way across country to Jersey.
Wow.
And we were at this facility, and, it's a huge party at these things. So everybody is in there getting trashed, drinking, and the microbiologist and the food chemist are taking these grapes that have mold all over them because they came from Lodi, California on a truck, right? And we're sitting there, and we're sorting, and we're destemming, and we're pulling out the mog, and we're doing all of this stuff, and everybody is getting trashed and making fun of us. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? But at the end of the year, when everybody bottles their wine, you have a big party, and there we are pouring our wine, and there they are pouring their wine, which came from the same exact place.
But yours was good, and theirs wasn't.
So starts to put a little thing in your hair, in your head. Well, this was fun. We can kind of do this. And then we decided, right, we're not trucking grapes from Lodi anymore. We just can't go across country anymore. So then we went in San Francisco, we went to Crush Pad before it closed. Mm-hmm. And we got fruit. We got lucky and got fruit from White Hawk Vineyard in Santa Barbara. And we made a Syrah, and we shipped the bottles back cross country to New Jersey. And that was like our gifts to people and all of this stuff. And everybody kept saying, this is really good. You should do this. You should do this. And I guess it just kept drilling in our head. We should do this. So in 2013, we decided we're going to do this. So we started the winery in 2013 with just the Cabernet Franc, about 75 cases of it. We went commercial. And so it got released in 2015. And before that, we went back to school. So, I have an undergrad and 2 masters. And then my husband has, an undergrad and a master's, in food science, microbiology. And we went back to UC Davis and went to the enology program at UC Davis, so that we knew how to make wine.
Well, why did you do California versus you never thought about staying in New York to make wine? You thought, was California your choice?
So I went to college in California.
Gotcha.
My undergrad was outside of LA.
Gotcha.
I have always loved California as a little kid. We vacationed in California a lot. So I always knew I was going to college in California, and I always knew I was going to live in California.
Okay. Fair.
So Mike had never been to California, so I brought him out, and he fell in love with it also. And so we just knew this was where we were going to be.
So how many cases are you up to now with your wines?
We are at about 400.
Okay, look at this. Growth.
Yes. Yes.
Good. So tell us a little bit about some of your wines then. And what are you drinking now? I'm drinking a wine from Bordeaux.
Very nice.
Bordeaux, which is 80% Merlot, 15% Cabernet Franc, and then 5% Malbec. I did a little exercise. I actually went through a lot of my wines to see how much had Cabernet Franc because I didn't know. So now I'm like, oh my gosh, that was fun.
There you go.
Tell me about your wine.
So I actually did pull our reserve Cabernet Franc.
Mm-hmm.
So this wine is actually 100% Cabernet Franc.
Mm-hmm.
We produced 2 Cab Francs. One is our classic. That got released, the 2018 got released in October 1st. This one gets released on Cab Franc Day, which is why I pulled it.
Yeah.
I pulled it to drink it. Now, our classic is 90% Cab Franc, 5% Cabernet Sauvignon, 3% Malbec, and 2% Petit Verdot.
Oh, that sounds very sexy. I love that.
So this one is 100% Cabernet Franc, and it's actually a single clone. So it is clone 4, and I call it Mother Nature is in a glass. Like it's a single clone, single vineyard. It gets bottled. It goes into barrel and it sits there. We bottle it, and it's Mother Nature.
What I did not ask you is why Cabernet Franc? Why this grape? I think that's very important because there's so many grapes to work with, but why this one for you? Because it seems like you're the one who made this choice. I could be wrong. But I think your husband's like, okay, we're going to do that then.
We're going to do Cab Franc. All right, Jersey girl, we're going to do it. Well, actually, it was actually a joint decision. What happened was one of the times we were visiting Napa and Sonoma, we walked into William Harrison, and the person behind the counter said, "Oh, you know what? We just had a whole bunch of club members come through, and we've got this open bottle that we normally don't pour Do you want a glass? And like, who says no to, you know, who says no to that? So we're like, sure, we'll taste it. And we tasted it and it was incredible. It was an amazing, amazing wine. And we proceeded to buy several bottles of it. But we actually had no clue what it was. And she told us it's Cab Franc. Like she poured it for us blind. And we tasted it and we're like, oh my God, this is so good. What is this? And she's like, oh, it's Cabernet Franc. And honestly, my husband and I had not heard of it. We're like, what is this? And so we bought the couple of bottles and we left. And then we were on a mission to find Cab Franc. Like, just let's go where we can find Cab Franc. And there wasn't a lot of Cab Franc out there. Mm-hmm. So when we decided to start our winery, I guess part of it was, if nobody buys our wine, we're going to have to drink a lot of wine. So let's make something that we're going to enjoy drinking. Right. Okay. But also, in Paso, well, in anywhere, we're tiny, like we're this, we're a little itty bitty winery, and we can't expect, nor can we compete with the big leagues. Sure. So I can't come into Paso, in my opinion, I can't come into Paso and make a Zinfandel and compete against the Turleys. Like, why would I want to compete against the Turley? Right. I mean, half my cellar is Turley, like, or, you just, there's, Paso has so many amazing wineries that produce Zinfandel. I can't compete against it. So part of it was, let's find our own little niche, and also let's find something that we love. And, we were literally hunting for Cab Franc and couldn't find it. So we're like, all right, well, we have this niche and we're going to do that.
I love wine from Paso. I think it's absolutely wonderful. Like, everybody always talks about Napa, Sonoma, and all these other, but I think Paso just has, I don't know, something very unique about it, and it stands out. So how are people receiving your wine? Are they like, what is this? Like, what's a Cabernet Franc? I mean, clearly you've started this holiday, but when people taste it, do you have a tasting room yet? Is that something you all are working on? Or
we're working towards the tasting room. We both have full-time jobs on top of the winery. Mm-hmm. And we are the winery, we're the winemakers. We do source our fruit. So we rely on the farmers to know the soils and do all that stuff. But we do everything else basically. So, we get rid of the full-time jobs. There's only so many hours in a day. But luckily I get to retire at the end of this year. So
well, congratulations. I'm gonna sip to that. Good for you.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. So you will be full-time wining all the time.
So we will be looking for a tasting room. In fact, yesterday I was in Paso driving around looking at properties and things like that. So
that's amazing. That's so exciting. You must be excited. I mean, I know it's a weird time, but by the time you get it together, it's like, voila, you're ready.
Right. We hope so. But we do private tastings, and we have always done private tastings. So they can go to our website and schedule an event, schedule a tasting with us, and we just go to the winery. And we taste basically on the crush pad unless we're harvesting, so we're tasting on the crush pad, don't have the insurance for them to go inside, and it's a working winery. So it's not an official tasting room.
It's all good. People just want to taste wine. It's like sometimes it's even more fun. That's even more fun. Like the whole, like being a part of the whole like scene. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I was about to ask you something and it just skipped my mind. So how long has Cabernet Franc Day been going? How many years?
So we released our first vintage. Our first vintage was 2013. It released October 1st of 2015, and December 4th of 2015 was the first vintage, was the first year of it. So yeah, so this is the I guess fifth year.
Where can people get your wines now? Can you ship what states can you ship to?
There's only like 5 states we can't ship to.
Even better. Probably like Pennsylvania, all control
No,
states.
I can do Pennsylvania and I can do Arkansas.
Shout out Arkansas? Arkansas? Get it.
Like 90% sure I can do Arkansas. I cannot do Kentucky because they are those bourbon people are just,
No, we won't be our people drinking bourbon. Forget your wine.
Yes. And Utah, like that's a full out felony in both of those states. So we can't ship there. And I don't know why Michigan is so difficult, but Michigan, there's very few wineries that can ship to Michigan.
That's weird. Michigan. Well, maybe they'll loosen up. Who knew? They're a little looser than I thought they were.
Yeah. So there's about 5 states we can't ship to, but between using compliance of our own licenses and compliance of other, of a third party, we can ship to the majority of
Do you have a wine club that people can join, or is it what can people get? What's your wine club like?
So the name is called Dracaena, and let me turn it that way. So this guy here is Draco.
Is that Draco right now?
No, and I'm in a room. You know what? FedEx or UPS is probably at the door. But luckily they know who I am, so they pretty much leave the package. But he's missing his biscuit, and that's what he's upset about.
I understand. A dog after my own heart. So how many dogs do you have?
Just one. So this is Draco. We got Draco through a breeder. So very different circumstances. With Draco, we, being science dorks, we have to research everything. So, after deciding we were going to get a Weimaraner, which required research, we decided on Weimaraner. Then we started going to dog shows and not blindfolded, but not looking at the program and saying, we like this dog. This is really embarrassing now, but we like this dog. We like this dog. We like this dog. And we found that we kept picking the same dog, like without knowing it. We kept picking this dog named Ben. And then we found out that Ben was going to be bred with Silver, and we knew we wanted a boy, so we weren't really looking at the females, but we liked Silver. She was really pretty, so we're like, okay. So it was like the perfect breeding. And then if that's not embarrassing enough, then we got interviewed by the dog breeder, and she approved us to have her dogs, which I personally think is a wonderful thing. She cares so much about her dog, right?
I understand that.
Okay. So we got approved. Then this is really, really now where it goes off the rails. We got a phone call that the dogs mated. So we got the call that the sex had happened. I mean, it was artificial. I think it was artificial, but whatever. We got the call. Then we got confirmation that there were puppies. Then we got sonograms of the puppies.
Oh my gosh.
So it was a very big, deal. And Draco was our life. I mean, he really was. We don't have children, so he was our boy. He was named after the constellation of the Dragon Souls. I'm very much into that. And so Draco got his name, and we had him for 14 amazing years, which is phenomenal for a Weimaraner. And when he passed, Michael bought me, because I was a wreck. A wreck. Michael bought me a Draco tree, and we put it where Draco, ate and had his water and everything. And so the name of the winery is Dracaena, and that ties in both Draco and us, because a Draco tree, the genus name for a Draco tree is Dracaena. So it's a Dracaena Draco. There's loads of Dracaenas, Dracaena Margenta, Dracaena Resina, loads of Dracaenas, but there is a Dracaena Draco. So that's where the name came from. So the label is Draco standing in front of a Dracaena tree, in front of a Draco tree.
Who knew the dog had so much more to do with this?
Yeah.
I
Oh,
thought you liked
everything. Everything.
I just thought you were all about the plant. Now
Mhm.
this is a whole other level.
Okay. So now the club, so wine, the Draco got the wine.
Uh-huh.
So we now have Vegas. After Draco passed, we went the complete opposite route, and wanted to give a home to a dog that didn't have a home.
Gotcha.
So
You got a rescue? Okay.
he's a rescue. So we rescued him when he was 2. His name was Zero, which kind of tells you what his life was like.
Oh my God, who does that? That's
Um,
horrible.
so we rescued him, and we changed his name to Vegas because we figured he was a lucky dog. And so we have him. We rescued him when he was 2. He's now 11.
Okay.
And pretty darn happy running around vineyards and greeting
I'm sure you're treating him like, is he the same
customers.
type of dog or is
He
it
is a Weimaraner, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
So the wine club, to get that was a very long loop around to your question. The wine club is called the Chalk Club. And the Chalk Club came from, we say that Draco has the label, Vegas gets the wine club. So in Vegas, if you bet chalk, you're betting on all of the favorites.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot. I like it.
We are betting or gambling that once you taste Dracaena wines, that we become one of your favorites. So that's the Chalk Club. And then we have tiers where you get to choose what wine you want. So the Sweet 16 is 6 bottles total for the year. So 3 bottles twice a year, Cabernet Franc in the fall, and then the Chenin and the Rosé in the spring.
Oh, nice.
And the Elite 8 is 4 and 4, so 8 bottles total. And then we have the final 4, which is 6 bottles in the spring and 6 bottles in the fall and 6 bottles in the spring. So I'm also gambling that we don't get so big that the NCAA is going to come after us for the Sweet 16, Elite 8, and Final 4.
I think you're fine.
I think so.
I think you're fine. I mean, it's come to fruition that now all these players love a good wine, so it's all good. They probably actually maybe one day you get to work with them. Who knows?
Right,
I know
absolutely.
for Cab Franc, but tell me more about this Chenin Blanc, which that is like one of my favorite wines. So tell me more.
So this will be 2020 will be our first vintage of Chenin Blanc.
Oh wow! Oh wow! That's
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah. So as much as we love Paso, I mean, it's our home, it's everything. We love it. To our palate, Chenin doesn't grow well to our palate.
Gotcha.
In Paso. We like the Loire Valley Chenin. That's
God.
what we like, right?
It's my favorite. Yeah.
Okay, that nice, that Vouvray, right? Like we just love it, right? So we went to where, if you're in the United States, where is the Loire Valley in the United States? And that's Clarksburg, up by Sacramento. So Loire Valley has silt soil. Clarksburg has silt soil.
Okay.
The Loire Valley has the breeze that comes in that cools the Chenin, that cools the vines. Clarksburg has the Delta Gap that comes in. The water tables are the same. It's like looking at a twin between Clarksburg and the Loire Valley. So we went to Chenin. I'm sorry, we went to Clarksburg, and so we picked up our Chenin from there. And
wow.
Yeah.
That sounds yummy. How much Chenin are you going to have? Like how many cases?
100-ish.
Oh.
100-ish.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. The what we make the least of is the rosé.
And so I was about to ask you about the rosé. Are you making it in Paso or are you doing it someplace else too?
Yes. No. So that's in Paso. So the rosé is a direct press of Syrah. So yeah, it's not a rosé for the faint of heart. I
like that. Okay.
It's a full-bodied rosé. but it's also because because it's a direct press and we're picking it to be a rosé, it has that acidity, but it's just not that light. It looks like a Provence wine. It's that beautiful salmon color, but when you put it on it's a full-bodied
Interesting. I
rosé.
love it. I
Um,
love it.
and that
So,
comes
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that actually comes from the Pomar district
Okay.
in Paso, and that, even though it's on the east side, is colder than some of the west side. So Syrah is like beautiful in the
Mhm.
Pomar district.
Okay. I can't let you go without asking you about pairing this Cabernet Franc, because
Oh.
that's what people are going to wonder. Like, okay, I don't know anything about Cab Franc, but I know about Merlot. I know about this and this and that. What does your husband like to cook for you? And
Uh,
you or whether you take out or whatever. Like, okay, since you lived on the East Coast, we take out a lot. So think
yes.
there and then think about like what's a good takeout and what's good home cooking. Go.
You know what? I have to give a major shout out to David Crowley, Cooking Chat Food.
Okay.
Um, he makes amazing pairings with our Cab Franc. Like he's constantly creating recipes that go with our Cab Franc, and every time he like posts it, I'm like, I would have never thought of that. That's fantastic, you know. Um, I am a horrible for somebody who loves wine as much. I am a horrible food pairer because I am the most finicky eater on the
Ah,
face of the earth. I do not eat beef. I do not eat veal. Like I don't eat meat really. Um, I I don't eat seafood. I don't eat cephalopods. I don't eat mollusks. I don't. Sorry, that's biology.
you eat
Um,
grass.
I eat pasta. I eat
I was gonna
pasta.
say, like, but I think a good Cabernet Franc pasta, like a pasta dish, like pasta, something.
Like, I mean, I don't eat it, but a bolognese would go well. I don't eat it, but ossobuco
Okay.
is incredible. And every release, we send out a newsletter to our club members with the recipe. And
Ah,
this year, this Cab Franc specifically, I did a butternut squash rosemary soup.
you made it yourself?
I actually did. I
Oh,
actually did.
oh, snap.
But that's the recipe that we sent out. Yeah, the cooking that I typically do, I make all homemade pasta. I've made homemade ravioli. I make homemade pierogies. My husband loves pierogies. Homemade pizza is every Sunday. I'm not allowed to have a Sunday that I don't make him pizza. Um,
Wait, for somebody who doesn't cook, you're doing pretty well.
it's it's all pasta based. It's all dough based. I can do
Okay.
that. I
Okay.
can do that.
Okay.
But yeah, like Cab Franc is so food friendly, and that's how I describe it to somebody who doesn't know Cab Franc. I'm
Mhm.
like, it's the parent of Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot, and
Yeah.
it takes the best of both of those worlds. It's got the body of Cabernet Sauvignon, but it's got that nice little finish of a Merlot. So, I'm not saying don't do it, but not too many people are sitting out on a back porch drinking a Cabernet Sauvignon on its own, right? I mean, there's usually food along with it. But
Sure.
Cab Franc, you can sit and enjoy a Cab Franc on its own. You can sit and enjoy a Merlot, on its own. Um, but so it goes from he's we've had tofu. We've had tofu meals with it. Like I said, the butternut squash, tomato soup and grilled cheese,
Ooh,
manchego
that sounds
cheese.
amazing.
Oh my god, manchego cheese.
Okay, that's doable. Everybody write that
And
down. That's simple.
and
Simple.
the big trick how I make the grilled cheese to make it
Okay.
even more Cab Franc friendly, I use blackberry jam and on the inside. So, I toast the bread on the panini grill type thing, and then
Uh-huh.
on the inside I put blackberry jam, then the cheese goes on, and then it melts. So,
Oh, that's sweet. That's
yeah.
okay. That sounds wonderful. Okay.
Yeah.
So how can what would you recommend for somebody to celebrate Cab Franc Day on December 4th? Like, any suggestions? What if I'm new to Cab Franc, and what if I'm a wine drinker already? What do I do?
So on December 4th, so what happened is Dracaena Wine started Cab Franc Day, but it's really been kind of taken over by my blog podcast side of it. So exploring the wine glass. So this year we have 16 wineries that are actually participating in the promotion. So if you go to Exploring the Wine Glass on Twitter and Instagram, and then there's a Cab Franc Day website and a Cab Franc Day on Facebook. Every day since the 17th of November, a winery has a spotlight. So every day I promote another winery that makes Cab Franc, because the whole concept of this is, I think one of the things about the wine world is we all believe that, you can't push other people down. Making somebody else better makes you better type thing. That's, our side. So even though we're not competing against these other Cab Francs, I want these other Cab Francs to be recognized in the world also. So every day since the 17th, there's been a spotlight day. You go in, you look at them. There's links to those wineries, Cab Franc. There's information about the winery itself, and there's information about how to purchase the Cab Franc. I do take the privilege of reserving December 4th for Dracaena Wines. We do. I do spotlight ourselves on December 4th. But so Exploring the Wine Glass, you can just go and look at that. And this year we're doing, actually this year at 4:00, Dracaena Wines is teaming up with the Grand Reserve Rewards credit card. And we're offering a special on a 2-pack of our wine. So 1 classic and 1 reserve for $80 shipped to your door. And then we're doing a virtual tasting at 4 p.m. Pacific. So you can come on and I'll talk about Cab Franc Day and talk about Cab Franc more than Dracaena, a little bit about us. So that's from 4 to 5. So that you can go online. It's on Dracaena Wines. You can see that.
Yeah.
So you can place that order or send me an email and I can give you the link. And then at 5:00, we have our annual general chat. So grab a bottle, any bottle, Dracaena Wines maybe, but any bottle you want of Cab Franc. Pop it open all day long, talk about Cab Franc, follow hashtag Cab Franc Day. From 5 to 6, join in the chat. It's all about Cab Franc. You will learn more about Cab Franc in that hour than anything.
Where is this on Twitter?
It is on Twitter. It is on Twitter. So 5 to 6 is the general chat. And then 6 to 7 is I called it a virtual chat before we had virtual tastings, before the Zoom world entered. But from 6 to 7, those 16 wineries are going to be online.
Wow.
And you can come in and still, by following hashtag Cab Franc Day, you can ask the winemakers any question you want. So specifically, why did you make Cab Franc, or how do I get your Cab Franc, or this or that? And we have Michigan, we have Colorado, we have New York, we have New Jersey, we have California, we have Bordeaux. So we have the 16 wineries are all over.
That's wonderful.
So you can come on. So at 6:00, come on, talk to the winemakers, show them, you love Cab Franc, and learn a little bit from the winemakers. So we'll be there. 16 of us will be there answering your questions.
It's so smart. I love that you were like, I want everybody just to drink Cab Franc, because I always tell people, especially winemakers, that's what cognac does, which is why they're like, we just want everybody to drink it. So then people will experiment and keep going back to the ones they love and drink different ones. That's how you do it.
Yep.
One last question. So say somebody is about Netflix and sipping. Which one of your Cab Franc is a good one?
Oh,
all of them. Which ones do you and your hub do, or Maybe he has a different one and you have one. I don't know.
You mean, so what Cab Franc do we drink if we're not drinking our own Cab Franc? Is
No,
that
either or. Like if you're at home and you're watching Netflix, say you're about to like snuggle up to the Queen's Gambit or some show, you're about to binge and you have a bottle because we're in binging season. We're in binging season.
So pretty much on Netflix, I just watch Supernatural.
Oh my God. You are so my lady. Girl, my boys, besides the eye candy that they all are. Yeah.
I'm gonna cry because it's over.
Oh my God, I did not know you were a Supernatural fan.
Since day one, I watched the very first episode. And I'm assuming you watched the final episode, right?
No, I
Oh,
may
okay.
not.
Oh, okay.
I know what happened. I may not. My post on Facebook was that they were dragged. Everybody hated it. And then I'm thinking maybe
I was cursing them out.
So I'm hoping in like 2 years they're going to do what Dexter is doing, come back and go, sorry. Everybody hated the ending, and this has like been my favorite show. I fell in love with it like on Netflix, maybe around season 9.
Oh
and
my God!
Why? I know, like, why haven't I been watching this? And then I'm like so in love with all of them. Everybody's gorgeous. Like, it's such a great show, though.
Yeah. So
me being a witch and all that.
Well, yeah. I fell in love with when I heard Supernatural was coming out. I was there from day one. So they have been part of my life for 15 years, like every episode since day one. And when last week, first of all, I thought it ended 2 weeks ago. And I was like, I was tweeting Jensen Ackles, who replied to me. I was like, oh my God, I'm so depressed. This is the last time I can watch Sam and Dean. I said, but it was such a great ending. I'm so happy. Blah, 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 blah. And he's like, there's another episode next week.
Everybody thought that episode you're talking about, which I still haven't seen, was the end, and they were like, y'all could have just left it alone.
Yeah, they could have just left it alone. But then the last episode, like 15 minutes into it, I was on social media. What the F? How can you do that?
Yeah, everybody. They were dragged.
It ended. I understand why they did what they did. I don't want to give anything away, but I understand why they did what they did. If you truly love Supernatural, you get why they did what they did. But it was heartbreaking of what they did.
Right. But we need a reunion show. I'm already like, well, yeah, I know what happened to a character, and I'm like, I may not ever watch it. I'm like, just bring it back because we can. I mean, they've done it many other times, so why not?
So the character who plays God, Rob, whatever his name is, he has a podcast, and I was listening to it yesterday, and he was saying he was getting hate mail. Because of what, like, people were saying, you deserve to die, God. You deserve.
And Jensen did not really agree with the ending. He has been very verbal about not necessarily agreeing. And then I think Misha was also like, Anyway, this is so funny that
Back to wine.
I know. I did not even know this about you. So say you're watching Supernatural, and if you have not watched it, you must. I put everybody onto the show. What do you drink which one of your wines is good with Supernatural?
So I'm going to say that our classic Cabernet Franc would be our wine. We'll go with our wine. Our classic Cabernet Franc would be best for Supernatural because of all the twists and the turns. And our classic is art. I consider it, that's where we get the art because it's a blend. It's always a Cab Franc, but every vintage it's a little different. Last year it was 5% Petite Syrah. The year before it was 10%. This year it's got Cab Sauv, Malbec, and Petit Verdot in it. So it's where we get to blend and art. And, so Supernatural, where the angels and the demons are coming at it. We got both sides, so I would go with the classic for Supernatural. If I'm drinking somebody else, I'm a Bordeaux girl. I am a Saint Emilion girl.
I love their wines. Yeah, that's some good red. Okay.
I really am. But
That's fair.
there's so many. There's so many. You know, if you say pick an Oregon one, I'll give you an Oregon one. You say pick a Napa one, I'll give you a Napa one. I'll get, you
Cool.
know.
No, that
Um,
was good. That was perfect. Well, thank you so much. This has been amazing. And I love you even more now that I know you're a Supernatural fan. One day we are hanging out, whether it's in
absolutely,
New York, whatever. We are going to make that happen. We're just going to watch Supernatural and drink wine.
absolutely. It's a date. I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
Well, everybody, don't forget, celebrate Cab Franc Day, December 4th, and then keep drinking it after. You don't have to wait for one day, but if you're gonna like be adventurous, that's a good day
Yes,
because it's coming up.
good day. And there will be tweets all day long about Cab Franc, about like, so you'll learn all day. You will learn what Cab Franc is, what it can offer you, and why you should be drinking more of it.
And I'm gonna tune in for that because how do people find you? What's your web? What you have several websites? Give us one or two.
So the winery is dracaenawines.com. So Dracaena wines.com. And that's straight wine. That's all wine. And then the blog and the podcast is Exploring the Wine Glass. So,
do
and
you
then
just,
that's on both.
do you just talk about Cab Franc on your podcast? I'm assuming you talk about all types of wine and all types of stuff,
Yeah,
right?
I do a lot of I actually am very, very lucky. I have a few connections in Bordeaux, so I
Oh,
get to interview a lot of Bordeaux winemakers. Um, uh, I just recently did Enrique Torrado from Chile, from Concha y Toro and Don Melchor.
cool.
Uh, it's really not right now. This week is Cab Franc, next week is Cab Franc, but other than that, actually next week is one of my favorite podcasts. It actually a best of, and I wrote a love story about Cab Franc and Cabernet Sauvignon. So it's like 50 Shades of Grape.
Ooh.
And so that's what the podcast is next week. Me telling the love story between Cabernet Franc and Sauvignon Blanc. But yeah, no, it's really about everything. And then I also with Debbie Giaquindo, HB Wine Goddess, once a month we do a series called Winefabet Street. So like Sesame Street,
Mhm.
Winefabet Street, and it's pure wine education. So it's a free seminar. You have to register, but it's free. And each month, we take the next letter of the alphabet, and we
Ah,
talk about general characteristics, history, food pairings, and obviously we drink. And we leave you with fast facts. And this month, which is going to be the 30th, is Nebbiolo. So
ooh, okay. Not a bad one to tune in for. Sounds
no,
good. I mean, I love it because it's like you're like sexy wine geeking. So it's all that's what it's all about. Sexy wine geek.
yes, yes.
Well, thank you everybody for tuning in and you
Thank
know how to
you.
find her and thank you so much. And until next time, peace, love, and cheers.
Sláinte.
Ah.